industry was started by Father Boyle. Homeboy industry is a program for ex-gang members and people that have been in and out of prison and now that are out. It's for training people and support and to help people. And we'll be hearing from two people from Homeboy industry today. Our first speaker will be Oisy. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay.
So thank you for having us. First of all, I want to know who knows somebody that's in a gang or family member that's in a gang or using drugs. Don't be shy. Alright, so look. There's something that Father G always says. You know, it's not what we're running to, it's what we're running away from. For a long time, I didn't understand what he actually meant by that. When he actually told me, you know what? One day you'll wake up and say, oh, I'm going to be a gang member, or I'm going to wake up and I'm going to start doing drugs. It's either because we're having, you know, our moms weren't there. Sorry about that. Either our moms weren't there, our fathers weren't there, we were neglected. You know, all of our stories are different. My story is different. My dad was actually, my dad was a lawyer in El Salvador. My mom was a doctor. They fled Salvador during the Civil War in the 80s. They came out here. My dad could not get a job as a lawyer, so he had to get a job as a dishwasher, a busboy, and a waiter. He had 3 jobs. My mom had to clean 2 houses every day. They were constantly working to build a foundation for me so I could go to college, so I could be something. When I grew up, I could go to college and become something. I didn't realize what they were trying to do. You know, I joined the football team. They weren't there. I did plays, they weren't there. So I ended up dropping out of school. You know, my birthdays, who likes birthdays here? Trust me, I like birthdays. I didn't have birthdays. All I had was happy birthday, I'm late for work. You know, at 9 years old, I ran away from home because I was taking care of my little sister. At the age of 9, I started hanging out with, the neighborhood kids, started using drugs. One thing led to another. I committed a crime. I actually went to shoot somebody when I was 9. I did 3 years in juvenile hall. If you add all the years up that I've been in prison, juvenile hall, camp, I've been in prison a total of 21 years. On and off. This is actually the longest time I've been out, which has been through almost 3 years and a half. The shortest amount of time that I've been out is 2 hours. I got out, ran into my homeboys, I got high, got busted, went right back in. I didn't care if I lived, I didn't care if I died. I've done everything. All kinds of drugs, I've done it all. I actually pretty much took my life. In 2011, when I got out of prison, I still had the intention of going back to my neighborhood. I went. I didn't see none of my homeboys. So I called my mom and told her, you know what, I want to come home. She said, all right. Now keep in mind, every time that I would come home, the longest time I'll be at my house is about a week, and I would take off. After me being there about a month, they asked me and they told me, what is it that you want? Why are you still here? Because we're not used to this. I said, I want a second chance. They're like, all right. After me being there about 2 months and a half, my mom actually started crying. Came up to me, hugged me. She pinched me. She slapped me. She thought I was a dream. She was not used to me being at the house. In June of 2011, I ended up in the hospital behind a tooth infection. The doctor said that all the drugs that I've done since the age of 9 had caught up to me. That tooth infection left me in a coma. I actually had 13 surgeries. My right lung collapsed. I had 2 liters of pus around my heart. I had a 98% chance of dying, 2% chance of living. Within the first 24 hours of my surgery, I actually died for a minute and a half. Within the next 30 hours, I actually died for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes and a half, you're completely brain dead. Being in a coma is not like, it's not like you're brain dead or you're not thinking about anything. I had different kind of dreams. I had fun dreams, I had negative dreams. The fun dreams was that pretty much I said everybody were vampires. Never after me. But the bad dream was that a nurse kept coming into my dream and telling me, you know what? Don't give up. Keep fighting. She would pray for me every night. And I wonder, why was somebody coming into my dream telling me to keep fighting and not to give up? Because they wanted me to have a second chance. When I was in prison, I didn't have that second chance. I didn't have somebody tell me, you know what, you're doing a good job, or stay out of jail. Every time I would get out of prison, the officer would tell me, see you next week. Hope you come back. It was very hard for me. I've actually walked away from my gang over 2 years ago. When I got into my gang, my homeboys told me, if you ever walk away from this gang, we're gonna kill you or your family. Don't get me wrong, I still live in my neighborhood, but I don't associate with none of my homeboys. For the simple fact that when I woke up out of my coma, the only person I saw was my mom. And this is a person that I haven't been in her life for almost 21 years. My homeboys weren't there for me. I pretty much gave up my life for them. And they couldn't even come by and say, you know what, I hope you get well. They couldn't show some kind of support for me. After I walked away from my gang, I went to Homeboy Industries and I talked to Father G. I told Father G, you know what, I want a second chance. I told him my story that how I almost died. He said, well, you know what, you already got a second chance. Well, I told him, you know what, I got a second chance in living, but I need a second chance to prove myself. And I got that chance. I've been to Alabama for 2 weeks, and trust me, I hate the summertime. In Alabama, when it rains out there, it rains hot water. Very humid. But I got the chance to go out there for 2 weeks. I went to San Francisco. Now, a lot of other homeboys, we go out to different places and talk to kids about gangs and violence. We have over 200 employees working at Homeboy Industries. Who's a senior here? Who has a tattoo? Don't be shy, because I got my first tattoo when I was 9. Now let me ask you, did it hurt? Huh? It did? So we have a tattoo removal. Getting a tattoo removed hurts 10 times worse than getting an actual tattoo. actually feels like popping a hot rubber band and popping it 10 times per second. I've been shot at, I've been stabbed at, I've never cried for that. But when I actually get my tattoos removed, I cried twice and I passed out twice. That's how painful it is. There's two reasons that I actually go and do the tattoo removal. Employment services, because I could actually cover up my arm, but when it comes to my neck or my face, I can't wear a hoodie, I can't wear a mask. The second reason is my family. I don't have no kids, but I do have nephews and nieces. If another rival gang member sees me, if they shoot at me, if they don't hit me, they're gonna hit them. You know, we have the Homegirls Cafe. We have three diners. One at our location, the second one at LA City Hall, the third one at LAX. We have about an average of 40 classes per week and they're all for free. We have our mental health department. And our mental health department doesn't mean that you're crazy. A lot of times we all need somebody to talk to. You know, we talk to our parents, we talk to our friends, and a lot of times we get negative feedbacks from them and we just don't want to listen. We all have problems. We're all human. You know, if you guys are thinking about joining a gang or associated with the gang, it's not worth it. And I'm telling you from first hand. You know, if I would have had more homeboys come over here and talk to you guys, they would tell you it's not worth it. So when you go to prison, they ain't gonna be there for you. When you're in the hospital, they ain't gonna be there for you. Sure, they might be there when you're actually dead, you know, crying, but what about when you're alive, when you actually need somebody? You know, at Homeboys, we have so many gang members, ex-gang members. And a lot of us, you know, they're pretty much considered, you know, homeboys. I've gone out and had lunch with my worst enemy. They're on the street I've actually shot at. And my homeboys come up to me and tell me, why you gonna go have lunch with this guy? So like, where were you guys when I needed you? They couldn't answer that. And I tell them, you know what? And don't come at me with, why are you gonna go have lunch with somebody that you don't even know? You know, we have a high school learning center for at-risk youth. If the kids actually go to prison, you know, juvenile hall, camp, YA, they get out. If they want to go back to school, we'll help them to get back into school. We also have our case managers. All of our staff there, pretty much, they love us. I consider Homeboys as my second home. In December, when we go off for vacation for 2 weeks, man, I call up Father G and tell him, you know what, open up the doors, let me go back to work. I enjoy doing what I do. I wake up every morning at 5 o'clock just to get to work. Because I go to school from, trust me, I'm still trying to get my high school diploma. Because education is the main thing right now. Who wants to flip burgers for the rest of their lives? Nobody? Well, okay, that's good. McDonald's requires that you have a high school diploma just to flip burgers. So imagine if you actually want to become a doctor, a lawyer, you gotta go to college. It's a lot harder for me to actually get a job. You know, we have a lot of companies that actually work with the Homeboy industries, in the film industries. And we have a new company that's actually just started to work with us. You know, I just got hired getting paid $13 an hour being a cheesemonger. And if you guys don't know what a cheesemonger is, it's pretty much dealing with all kind of cheese from all over the world. From France, Italy, Spain. Never in my life did I actually think this is what I was gonna do in my life. I always thought, you know what, I'm gonna be in jail or I'm gonna be dead. So think about it next time that you're actually gonna kick it with your homeboys. You always have a choice in the matter. Thank you.
Okay, you guys, so our next speaker from Homeboy Industries, his name is Gus. So let's give him a more welcome.
Hey Orson, you did that like nothing. Excuse me, bear with me for a minute because I'm kind of nervous. I spoke before, but damn, not this many people. My name is Gus Mojica. I've been on Homeboy Industries on and off since 1998. Been there, done that. I knew Father Rick since I was a little kid. He seen me growing up, playing sports, going to high school, then got into a gang. Oh, by the way, I have a twin brother. So you guys see somebody looks like me, it's not me, because I think he's fatter. I grew up in the project with Father Rick was a pastor right there at Dolores Mission. There were like 8 gangs in the same project with this section, that section, like 3 sections, like 8 gangs trying to go in at it for power. Oh, I'm nervous. You did this before. Well, I grew up with in the project with my twin brother. Put it this way, me and my twin brother, the oldest out of 7 of us. I'm not gonna tell you guys how old I am. But me and my brother, my twin told my little brother, my little sisters, if anyone of you guys gangbang, we're gonna be your worst enemies. Lucky none of them did. Well, you want me to dance or something? Well, I grew up with a single mom, a stepdad. Far enough? A single mom, a stepdad, which you saw was beat my mom. But then me and my twin brother started getting older. Oh no, you're not putting hands on her. We started putting hands on him. So I grew up with a no father figure. All my uncles are from my neighborhood. So me and my twin brother liked that lifestyle. Like partying with the girls, of course, making that fast money. You know, I used to be out to sports, like Orson would say, my mom would never want to go see me play sports. My dad was trying to have one, he was never around. I started playing sports, then got into middle school, which was called junior high back then. So that's when I started mixing up. I dropped out in the 9th grade, Yankee school, started claiming the gang, got into the gang. And from there, it went. But one thing, thank God I never made it to prison. My twin brother did. He was on parole and used to give my name. The only thing, after a while, when I had a tattoo up here, when Orson said that tattoo removal does hurt, believe me, it does. I had it up here, I had a tattoo up here. He used to give my name, the Mojica, you're on parole? Nah, that's my twin brother. I'm Gustavo, he's Victor. Then after I got the tattoo, he's like, damn, I can't give your name no more. But one time, me being dumb, the housing authority stopped us in the projects, and I gave his name. He was in prison, I gave his name, and they took me to jail. I'm never giving your name, fool, hell no. And like I was saying, I met Father Greg when I was young, started working at Homeboy Industries. Like in 1995, 96, I guess I could go all the way around. I used to work for him in 95, 96, but he used to pay me cash under the table. He paid me one Friday, $100 a week. Cool, I had no responsibilities. He paid me one Friday, couldn't pay me. He paid me Friday, he couldn't pay me Friday, then he paid me Monday, then he had to pay me Friday again. So he kind of laid me off. I go to school, G, I appreciate everything you've done for me. When I had to tattoo, we had 3 letters and powder shading over it. And we had to remove one memorial at that time at some hospital. And I go see him. I go, Vito, what's up, G? You give me a secret handshake. What that is, he has a $20 bill in his hand and shake my hand and give it to me. He always does that. To this day, he does that. And I would thank you, G. I'll talk to, here's something I want you for your next treatment. And I'll leave. I ain't taking it off. Darken it up, added a 1-3, teardrop, 3 dots, 13 in my ear. Father he looks at me like, son, what happened? I told him, G, I'm at the point, but I don't give a F about nothing no more. I didn't have no responsibility. I thought my neighbor was everything to me. In 98, two of my homeboys passed away at the same time. I was in jail when that happened. You know, I say things happen for a reason. Me and one of my homeboys would leave with my other homeboy. I could have been right there when they passed away, but I got busted. I get out. They, you know, on Christmas Day of 98, one of my other homeboys passes away. Father Gray pulls up, we're doing the Sleepy RIP car wash. Father Gray pulls up in his car. Step into my office, son. He drives me around. He goes, I want you to work with me again Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Oh, hell yeah. Gee, my homeboys ain't gonna put money in my pockets. They're gonna pay my bills, which I didn't have bills. So I've been working since. But see, when you work for Homeboy, you're not supposed to hang, bang, or slang. Hang around, kick with your homeboys, bang, from writing on the walls to shooting at your enemies, or slang, selling dope, drugs, whatnot. I was being a hypocrite. I work at Homeboy, I don't gangbang. But then I leave, I will kick with my homeboys. I wasn't doing drugs, I wasn't selling drugs, I was doing drugs. In 1998, I get a ticket for trespassing because they kicked me out of the projects. If you visited somebody, you have to be in their apartment. I wasn't visiting nobody, I was in my neighborhood. And the housing authority would come, Mojica, we didn't stop gangbanging. I had my hands on the hood. The mentality that I had at that time, I'm never gonna stop gangbanging. Either I'm doing life in jail, either I'm 6 feet under, doing life in jail. I don't give a throw gang signs. You put your hands back in the hood. Sorry, you got me excited. That's the mentality that I had at that time. I thought my neighborhood was everything to me. In 98, 99, I had a girlfriend. They wanted me to do Caltrans. So she'd go with me, turn myself in, we'll give you 30 days of 2 weeks of Caltrans, 30 days of jail. Okay, cool, which I won't do the whole 30 days. I'll get out, I still wouldn't do it. By year 2000, I get arrested for the same thing. You have to take it since 98 once you get rid of it. Like, why don't you wake up in the morning working outside of the freeways? You're crazy. So they gave me 90 days, I did 50. Of course she leaves me whatever I get over or whatever. I got out July 17 of 2000. Regular schedule. As long as Father Gray tells me, son, just do your time. When you get out, you have a job waiting for you. Regular schedule, get out, regular schedule, go home, go to work, go home. It was a Saturday, July 17 of 2000. No, July 23rd of 2000. It was a Saturday. I get an argument with my ex, and my twin brother tells me, hey, fool, let's go to the hood. All right, F it, let's go. That day, I get shot. We're kicking in the crowd. One of my so-called homeboys across from me, he looks that way, doesn't say nothing, and runs. They hit me right here first. I'm out for you guys real quick. Want you guys to see it? I know you like my legs. They hit me right here, the bullet blew up. And I'm a little paranoid, like, shut up. If they hit me in my ankle, that's when I fall. I'm dragging myself on the floor. My twin brother comes, did you throw up? I'm like, no. When the bullet hit me right here, it blew up, so my insides went on my lap. They hit me in my ankle, one of my homeboys is passing, he'll, hey, my brother got hit. He'll bring him. I'm falling asleep in the car. Don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep. Falling asleep, don't go to sleep. He slaps me, bah! I won't. I get to the emergency room. My so-called homeboy, the one that didn't say nothing, the ambulance took him. And they put me in that gardening thing. He told me, you're being full out. Because I was saying, that I was saying it hurts. He hurts. I don't remember him telling me, you're being full out. I told him, I don't give up. After that, I remember nothing. I got in a coma for 2 weeks. And it was weird when I was in a coma. I was having dreams of my ex-girlfriend that had left me was the ambulance driver take me from one hospital to the other. And thank God I woke up out of the coma. My first person I see was my ex, which I was surprised. My real dad, when he lives in Utah. My mom, and my homeboys, and my twin brother, of course. I'm there a couple of weeks, and we have bad news for you. What other bad news do you have? I just got out of the coma. I want to amputate your leg. So I said, do what you gotta do. But then, no, think about it. Your leg, we're talking about, think about it. So I called my mom in that morning, and I told her what they wanted to do. She goes, get their number, their pager number, we'll get them, we'll talk to them. We talked to them, and they go, we asked them, we gotta be able to save my leg. Or yeah, we could save it, but later on in the future, your whole leg goes down on you, you get gangrene, chop off your whole leg from right here down. Or now do what you gotta do. So like from right here, down, this one. And right here, don't worry about that, that's my booking number. I got laid off Homeboy in November because money was running short in November of last year. And I did something dumb, and I went to the county jail, whatever, but they took my leg to my property. And they had me in a wheelchair, like, come on, man. I ain't got no metal on it. And you know what? And back then, I would take time standing on my head, standing on one leg, anything. But then I started thinking about my kids. I have 2 boys. After I got out of the coma, after I amputated my leg, I asked the doctor, sir, you're telling me I could do this, I could do that with a prosthetic leg? Will I be able to dance? He goes, you really have high spirits when I'm using the leg. I go, so first of all, thank God I woke up out of the coma. Second of all, thank God I'm still alive. And third of all, if I get my boogie on, I'm cool. And believe me, I love dancing. My twin brother, he works in a rehab. Every time he speaks, he's talking about me. He goes, I have a twin brother that when he dances, he goes all the way down and he only has 1 leg. And I have 2 legs and I can't even do that. Well, after everything I've been through, Homeboy Industries has changed my life. You know, even though I'm on it, back there again. I got married. How you say unfortunately or fortunately when you really don't care what happened? But unfortunately I've been divorced. I'm divorced now, but I have 2 beautiful boys. And because of them two, when I got laid off Homeboy this last time, I was still taking my restorative justice class, and the last one we had was at G's house, Father Greg's house. You know, G, I share what I had to share, and I was sitting down, G got me up on my knee, he was like, good job, my son. And I told him, just because I got laid off Homeboy, I looked at G, I have 2 boys, because of them 2, I don't give a F attitude. I don't want to go back to gangbanging, go back to drinking, doing drugs, because of them 2. Them 2 boys are everything to me, and I'll do it. Whatever I have to do, so they won't follow my footsteps. Well, I guess they want to give me the boot, so like what the 2 guys said that the natural high dancing, don't trip, I'm right with you. Besides raising my voice, I that's my natural height too. My two boys are my natural height and my pride and joy.
All right, thank you guys so much. All right, so if anybody has any questions for the guys here from Homeboy Industries, we're gonna go ahead and bring them both up here. Feel free and don't be shy. Any questions you have, just go ahead and ask them, and they'll answer your questions.
No personal questions, please.
Nobody's got questions? Well, it doesn't leave no scars. If you take care of it, I mean, it does blister up, and that's part of the treatment. I actually had lips on my forehead, but I don't have them no more. At the age of 9. At what age was I introduced to drugs? At the age of 9. Dying? Nah, it wasn't like a white light. You know what? It was different. It's not as they say it. My parents still make a joke out of it. My mom says that I went to heaven and hell. I banged on the doors. They locked the doors up. It wasn't my time. So I honestly don't remember. I'm actually from LA, but I'm not, I don't want to glorify what gang I belong to, because that's my past life, or what they used to call me, or what kind of crimes I did, because that's just bringing up, it's like when you have a scar, and it starts scabbing up, and you pick at it, and you continue to pick at it, it's never going to heal.
I'll answer your question. Excuse me. I'll answer your question. I'm from Homeboy Industries.
Somebody had a question over here?
You guys talk about Father G a lot. How much of it, not really inspiration, but how much of an impact has he brought upon your lives, other than getting into Homeboy Industries?
He's made a large impact on my life and on a lot of people's lives that work at Homeboys. And I see this daily. We see an average of 50,000 people a year walking in through our doors for our programs. And this is not including the people that work at Homeboy Industries. These are people coming in from outside, from different places, are seeking help, are taking the classes, to better themselves. If it wasn't for Father G, I think I'll be in prison or dead.
Is he the founder?
Yes, he is the founder.
And to answer your question, the inspiration has been to me, like I never get tired of telling him or repeating it. He's like the father I never had.
Any other questions? Through my homeboys, after I committed my crime, I did my time, I started getting high, and just know in prison, there's way more drugs in prison. there's a lot more drugs in prison. You think you might get arrested and I'm gonna go to prison and I'm gonna get clean? That's a lie. You know, your neighbor, if your neighbor doesn't have it, your next door neighbor has it. I have actually seen a guy go in there that never did drugs, you know, because he was so stressed out, didn't want to talk about his problems, actually getting killed because he couldn't pay for his drug use. That's why I say you gotta have the will. Even if you have a hard time dealing with it, you gotta have that will, that willpower to actually stop using drugs.
What's your natural high?
My natural high? It's actually 3 things. Fishing, classical music, and my family. My plans for the future is actually going back to school, getting my high school diploma, going to college, getting a degree in zoology. I actually want to be a vet.
You are a man already. I'm not gonna lie, I do sometimes. Cause
Do you ever have the temptation to go back to that old life, the way that you used to be?
I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do, cause I see, cause when I grew up in the projects, they tore down the projects. My home wasn't there no more. They moved to another side of another clique, but I think about it, but I say, you know what? My 2 boys. They're the reason they're the reason why I wake up in the morning, they're the reason why I go to work, plus they're getting for child support. They're the reason why I don't do the things that I don't want to, I don't want. I get tempted, I'm not gonna lie, but then I just think about my kids because I don't want them following my footsteps. Is my twin brother like doing good like me? Yeah, as a matter of fact, you know, don't get me wrong, I may dress still like a gang member, but I can't help it, of course I have it. I'm not gonna be wearing pants that fit me regular. I feel like, damn, I have a Murph or something. It's just of course I have it. My twin brother, he dresses like a paisa. And he changed too. He works in a rehab. I take them to my boys know about my past. They know I got shot because of gang banging. They know I used to be a gang member. They know all that. One time when I really got separated from their mom, we took them to Chuck E. Cheese. And my ex tells me, hey, your son wants to wear big pants. He's my younger son. And I'm like, no, I want you to wear big pants. I didn't have big pants at that time. Like, why don't I want you to wear big pants? Like, why not? You do. No, I don't. And we're leaving. My older son tells me, Daddy, he wants to be a gangster like you. And I turned around and looked at him. I go, I want you to be, he had graduated from preschool. I want you to be like me. I want you to be better than me. Go to school, graduate. He goes, I did graduate. When you go to college, you go to high school, graduate. They're like, what's college? Well, high school, they graduate. I don't want you to be nothing like me. I want you to be better than me. And now, fortunately, they know that gang members are bad, like, because of what happened to me, but they know about my past.
Life in prison is nothing compared to being out here. You have somebody, a lot of times you'll have somebody a lot younger than you telling you what to do. You know, you have people telling you when you eat, what time you eat, what time you finna shower. Whenever there's a riot, you know, the whole prison goes on lockdown. You don't have no freedom. You know, you wash your clothes out of the toilet. And then trust me, you think it might be nasty, but that's what they do.
Does it work?
You know, half of the times, you don't even shower. You have to shower yourself out of the sink. You know? Prison life is so different than being out here. You know, I enjoy my freedom. You know, since I've been out, I've been discharged off of parole. I'm not trying to go back to prison. You know, the prison life, you can't talk to certain races. You can't associate with them. If anything happens, you have to do something. There was one case where I was about to get out of prison. I had 3 days to get out of prison. My homeboy, somebody that was younger than me, came up to me and told me, I need you to go handle something. No questions asked. I did it. I did another 3 years. For the simple fact, because if I didn't do it, they would come and get me. You have no say-so in prison. Any other questions? How painful? Actually feels like getting in a hot rubber band and popping it 10 times per second. Who's ever burned themselves on the stove? Alright, 10 times worse. Imagine burning yourself on a stove 10 times per second. Am I still scared if my old gang might come and get me? You know, I get that a lot. I am. But if they do come and get me, you know what, then it's my time. At least I'll know that I've actually done good. I'm going back to school. I've gotten off parole. I've been clean. I don't have to worry about, you know, walking by a police station and hiding. You know, every time I get stopped by the LAPD, they, you know, first thing they ask you, are you on parole probation? I'll tell them no. You know, I get discriminated a lot of times because I have visible tattoos, so I'm bald-headed. You know, back in my times, I used to wear size 50s pants. Yeah, I heard that. That's back in my time. But now it's like, I'm living a good life now. And I'm happy that I'm living this good life. What kind of advice I would give you guys of not joining gangs or doing drugs? My advice is, don't do it. Because it ain't gonna take you nowhere. And I'm talking the truth. You know, for me and Gus and my other homeboys that work at Homeboy Industries, you know, we've actually seen people die through gang violence. I've actually had one of my homeboys die in my hands. And he got shot in the head. I actually had to stick my finger inside of his head to stop the bleeding. You know, there's somebody that I actually grew up with. I've seen somebody take their life, you know, through the drug overdose. Because they couldn't go on and live no more. If you guys want to if you guys don't want to use drugs or want to get out, get into sports. Take up a hobby. You know, that's one thing that I do, is I go fishing. When I have that craving that I want to get high, I get my fishing rod, and I go to the pier, and I go fishing.
Before we end this, my advice is, you want to walk with a prosthetic leg, you want to get in a coma for 2 weeks, you don't want to do it. Just stay, like he said, stay sports. Just put it this way, it's not worth it. Now that I think about it, it was a waste of time. It's not worth it. Think about your family, how you're going to hurt your family, how you're going to hurt your mom, your dad, and your little brother, little sisters. With that said, thank you everybody.